Ladies and gentlemen, a year ago, a nation stood up, came together and asked for one thing: retribution. Retribution for the killing of 26 unarmed Indians who were shot dead in front of their families in Pahalgam. The grief across India was replaced by deep anger and a quiet resolve. That resolve, ladies and gentlemen, was Operation Sindoor, a mission to avenge the women who had lost their sons and husbands that day. 15 days after the meadows of Pahalgam were soaked with blood, India launched precision airstrikes at 9 high-value terror launch pads inside Pakistan. In 23 minutes, the job was done. 100 terrorists had been killed. Within the next 88 hours, 11 key Pakistani air bases were struck and 20% of Pakistan's air assets were destroyed. With that, India had called the bluff of Pakistan's nuclear blackmail. It had also firmed up India's doctrine of controlled warfare, where the entire operation was over in 4 days, with maximum damage to the adversary and minimum damage back home. It also seized with a promise: Operation Sindoor is not over. A year down, has Operation Sindoor templated our response to enemy action? To answer that question, my guest, former Chief of Air Staff RKS Bhadauria, joining us on the broadcast. Thank you very much for your time, sir. General KJS Dhillon, who has authored a book on Operation Sindoor, with us as well. Bhadauria sir, I think I'll want you to, take my first question. Have we now, with Operation Sindoor, templated our response to external aggression, that this is how it will be done?
For sure. I think this is a total paradigm shift, the way political decision has been taken. The kind of targets chosen was audacious politically, despite the political risk. The kind of action taken by services in a very synergistic, cohesive manner, integrated manner to achieve what was achieved. To target Bhavalpur and Muridke as part of 9 targets was unthinkable. So it was audacious in many ways. And you talked about retribution. I think it was retribution and much more in full. Okay, and this template will stay. The new red lines that have been drawn and the how the zero tolerance to terrorism has been pivoted further, that any cross-border terror would be seen as an act of war. Now, this template would be how we will deal with any such cross-border terror incident. And also, in many ways, this is a template how we will work in a synergized and integrated manner against any conflict situation, against any adversary in the future. And it shows a lot of our capability. What has happened on 10th before we terminated? It is not easy to attack a nuclear country with impunity across 11 bases at width and depth, staying within control of the escalation ladder. So I think militarily, what was done on 10th, the CDS and service chiefs need to be really lauded for that, brave targeting, for spiking the escalation ladder briefly. And it was militarily also audacious what was done. So this template is here to stay. The red lines are here to stay. And I think this is how the conflict will be dealt with in the future, any conflict.
General Dhillon, would you want to come in here? This was a conflict completely under India's control. We chose the date when we want to go in. We chose the targets. We decided on the escalation. And then we decided when we wanted to de-escalate and come back.
Shreya ma'am, good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to Air Chief Marshal Bhadauria sir and all your viewers. And before I answer that question, I would like to pay my deepest of respects to the victims of Pahalgam, as also condolences to their families, and congratulations to all the soldiers of all 3 services who participated in Operation Sindoor and came out victorious. Now, having said that, as Bhadauria sir very rightly brought out, this operation drew new red lines. This operation drew new strategy. This operation showed the world and our adversaries that this is the way India of today will respond. We responded decisively, and at the same time, it was the first time in the history of the world, if we keep aside Kargil war, that the two nuclear powers came to fight a war with each other. And very important point brought out by Bhadauria sir was, we control the escalation ladder. When two nuclear powers come to war, the whole world is watching, the whole world is scared. And that is where the responsible governments, responsible democracies, responsible militaries, responsible military powers, responsible economies behave in the manner Indian Defence Forces and Indian government behaved. We controlled the escalation ladder from day one on the night of 6th, 7th till we hit the 11 air bases on 10th of May, as also on 3:35 p.m. on 10th of May when Pakistan begged for a ceasefire. We were in control, and a lot of your viewers and a lot of Indians still ask this question, why didn't we hit more?
Correct.
When we were in a position on the 10th of May afternoon, or kyun nahi mara, or kyun nahi kiya? Now here I would like to just tell the nation, or the, even Chief Marshal Bhadauria sir is also laughing now, it is that responsible governments, responsible nations decide the political aim if they enter the war, and at the same time they also decide the end state. What end state we want to achieve when we say we have achieved a political aim, and then is the exit strategy on your terms. Unlike what is happening in Iran.
Correct.
The political aim is shifting from regime change to denuclearization of Iran, to destroying their navy and army, to destroying everything in Iran. And finally, it has come down to the opening of Strait of Hormuz, which was always open before the war started. So deciding a political aim, culling out a military aim, military strategy, military operations from it, achieving the end state on your terms, and then saying, yes, we control the escalation ladder, we put an end to this war now, we could have hit you more. That is how the responsible governments, responsible militaries behave, and world has a lot to learn from us, not only in Operation Sindoor, ma'am. 1971 war, we decided the political aim, we decided the end state. We accepted the surrender. Kargil, we decided the political aim, we decided the end state, and when Nawaz Sharif went to America and begged for a ceasefire, we decided, okay, we achieved our aims, we call an end to the war. Otherwise, unending wars, what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, what's going on in Iran, that is not the way world wants the wars today.
Air Chief Marshal Bhadauria, you have spoken about the fact that this was also an audacious military operation. Could you tell us why, in your view, you think this was an audacious military operation? And was this just a military operation, or did India as a whole come together for it? Because you had ISRO satellites being used, there was jointness, there was a lot going on behind what the military was doing.
Yeah, so all those factors are there. But why I say audacious is, just remember, like General Dhillon was saying, this is a conflict against a military, against a nuclear-armed country. And we were very calmly and very firmly responding to military action by Pakistan after the terror raids. On 7th and 8th, whatever the action, a huge number of drones, loitering munitions, then they started with missiles. And we were just proportionately responding, but very intelligently. We were taking out the radars, we sent our own loitering munitions, taking out the SAMs, but very, very, very limited manner, calibrated manner. But when they started to up the ante and they wanted, in my opinion, a major strike in some of our air bases or military installations before they called it off, that's what they were attempting, by the huge attempt at launching, weapons and missiles to achieve that. And we did not allow them to. But at the same time, we responded in near real time and launched what we did on 10th morning, 9th night, 10th morning. So 10th, what we did was audacious. In a nuclear overhang, when we are controlling escalation, to do these kind of missions, I'm really proud of what our services have achieved, because we were able to blind them where required, and we struck the bases without zero loss, with total destruction across. All targets achieved. Not an easy task, easy result to achieve in the best of cases. So that's why I say, and we are attacking Pakistan, which is, in terms of weapons, capabilities, support by China, highly equipped highly trained. So it is a very competitive battlefield. Yet we blinded them and achieved what we did. So that's why I said militarily also it was audacious what was done on 10th. And for CTS and service chiefs to do that, I think kudos to them. You talked about other agencies involved, of course. There was support from ISR support. There were, all kind of other supporting actions that were being taken. 10th was also a lot of actions. When we terminated, Navy was poised. Karachi was nervously looking at our Navy. They were in a position to launch. Army was very, very aggressively targeting everything at LACIB. Not only drones, a huge number of drones, logic stations, but aggressively targeting across whatever was required, whatever was thrown. So our position that time, this is what we ended with. So that's why I say it was audacious.
General Dhillon, what was also audacious, I would say, is our political will. Because no military action can take place, any sort of military action can take place without firm political will and clear decisions.
Absolutely, ma'am. As Air Chief Marshal Bhadauria sir also said, this was the first time after 1971 that we hit Pakistan Punjab. Pakistan Punjab, although line of control, we have a lot of firing going on and other things. Balakot was in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which was a proper Pakistan, not POK. But in Pakistan Punjab, which is heart of Punjab and which Punjabi Pakistani Musliman takes pride in saying Mera Pakistani Punjab, we hit that pride. We hit that pride with precision on the night of 6th, 7th May 1 year ago. When 9 terror targets we hit, not a single weapon of ours was intercepted. On 10th May, when we hit 11 air targets, air bases, not a single weapon of ours was intercepted. We called their nuclear bluff, we defeated the air defense, we defeated the air force, we defeated their ground forces. And about your point, about how the other agencies supported, like Air Chief Marshal Bhadauria said, it is a whole of nation approach. Nations go to war. Nations go to war, militaries only fight on the borders. The diplomat fights in the diplomatic arena, the economist fights in the economic field, the industrial fights in his industrial area. So much so the teacher fights in the classroom, telling those young kids that it's a just war we have entered. So that, that narrative, the false narratives do not vitiate our young minds.
Sure.
So it was a whole of nation approach and nation came out trumps. And the political will was the most important aspect, as Air Chief Marshal Bhadauria said in his opening remarks, to take a decision of that magnitude, to hit Pakistan Punjab, hit 9 terror targets, and tell the world that we are not accepting terrorism in any shape, size, or contours. I think that was the most important, and that is how the mature democracies, mature militaries, mature nuclear powers, mature economies behave.
And the message is very clear that Operation Sindoor happened a year ago, but it's not over yet. Has it templated our response to external aggression? Perhaps it has. Thank you very much, Bhadauria sir, for joining us on the broadcast. Good to see you here. General Dhillon, thank you very much for being with us on the show as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.